little low today, so once we get going with the presentation from Norm in a few minutes, we will, I just need you to sort of keep the sound down so we can hear them properly. And if you can't hear them, come on, let's move up closer. We don't want to miss this presentation. Exactly. Anyway, my name is Andy Blanchard. I happen to be lucky enough to be your president this year, and it's my turn to do a monthly meeting. So every month, the meeting host is moving through the board, so everybody gets a little bit of experience on how to present. Tonight, we have a pretty busy agenda. Is Emma here tonight? She's not. So we'll see Emma next month. She wasn't sure if she could make it. Emma is a 10-year-old student that was taught by Eric. Eric, you taught Emma? Okay, so, and Bob as well. Okay, so these two gentlemen taught this young lady how to make a telescope, and she was going to come and show it to us tonight. But we'll see that next month. So we have, as I said, a pretty big agenda. After Norm, we're going to hear from Debbie, who's been doing our social media. So all of that information that's been flowing out to you, it's her fault. And Victor's going to be talking to us about outreach. We just had a fabulous outreach on the weekend. Victor, what, about 1,100 people? Yeah. Isn't that something? All right. And then I'm going to be talking about the sky in March. So the things that we can look forward to looking up. And Bruce is going to do our book review. And then Aaron's going to do the astrophotography contest and the 50-50 draw. And I'm going to be talking to you about NEAF and NEAC, which is in April. And then we're going to be talking to you about some national news. RASC National, there's some things going on there, and we can have sort of a little fireside conversation about it. Yeah, John, you would have gotten an email, but
I'll send it to him right now.
All right, you got it?
Yeah.
All right, we're sent. Just let me know we're sending it to him. So, without further ado, I'd like to do a little introduction to Norm. So if you could flip me a screen here, and I'm just going to read the introduction.
Okay.
So we're going to go one past Emma. Norm. It's come out.
Is that Norm?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
We're just waiting for it to show up on our screen, Norm. So bear with me.
Well, you still have your okay. You just changed page. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's all brand new technology for us, Norm.
Yes, for me too.
Yeah. Is it there yet? No.
No, that's as far as we can make him go. Yes, we've checked, but if you were welcome to come up and take a peek.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, let me stop sharing.
Share.
and
Screen two.
Okay, there's a big screen here with the agenda.
yes, now we
But
just
not
now we just got to go to the program. Drop this. Okay, and then move it along as if you were just running the program and see.
yeah, no, it's already moved. Yeah.
That's not going to do.
We need some nerds here in the group here somewhere.
Stop sharing. Try
Yeah.
that.
Choose a different share.
Yeah.
Because that's, you want to choose one that looks the same as the screen right now. Okay. So it looks like you have this screen open a few times, maybe 3 times. Have you opened it too many
No,
times?
I don't think so. Let's let me just check here.
Nice guy.
Just close this.
Start over.
Maybe you have more than once.
Well,
Yeah.
there we go. Things are happening now. Now, if you share that screen and then start moving it along, or vice versa.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me tell you about Norm. Norm Fullum builds absolutely gorgeous Dobbs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. I mean,
Yes, yes. The telescopes are basically something that all of us Canadians can be very proud of because they're artwork. He has beautiful carved telescopes that you can buy for yourself that are just gorgeous. I mean, you just melt when you see them. And then he makes monster telescopes and monster mirrors, and they go all over the world. And Norm's been doing this for a lot of years, and he was a strong supporter of AstroCats over the years. AstroCats was our astronomy. There we go. That was it. Go one forward now. And
you have to share your screen though.
well, you know what? We're seeing it here.
Oh, I don't see
Here
it.
we go. Okay. Let me see if I missed anything. So Norm's going to take us on about a 40-minute tour of his facility. He's going to tell us how he came about becoming a telescope maker. And it's something that we all in this room would like to do, is to build a telescope similar to what Norm has done over and over and over. But we could never hope to accomplish what he's done.
Oh, wow.
So, now you can take that off and put Norm up there. And Norm, if you, the floor, no, didn't come up. You want to share that screen now?
Okay.
No, so Norm, you can share your screen?
No,
Yes, I will.
Oh, you wanted to share that one, okay.
Let's bring Norm up here.
Okay.
And
So you do
So
see.
Norm has to share his screen, right?
Well, you only have to put me on first
you have to share, you have to use,
as a host.
you have to use this.
You don't have to. That's right. Just like this. And then what I'll do, guys. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
I'm sharing
It's an
PowerPoint.
honor for me to
Okay. And then
to be a part of your monthly reunion, and very happy that Andy thought about me to share my madness with you guys. Are you still okay? Oh,
let's see. No.
go back to where you were.
Yeah.
Without. Okay, so do you see me now in the small screen?
Giving him 3 minute instructions. Just give him a second.
Okay. Because what I would like to do is give you a small PowerPoint presentation that I've done a few months ago. And then after that, I will walk you around
If
the
he's
shop.
gonna do a PowerPoint, he should share his screen.
Yeah, I will share my screen. I will share my screen.
Then I'm gonna stop sharing.
Yeah.
Stop sharing.
Just leave it like that. And I can see there's many people already on the Zoom. Mark, Michelle, Ed, Peter, Joe, and Jan. Sorry, I think it was Jean. Okay.
And then there's about 35, 40 people here in the room.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So
All right.
Really big presentation.
Perfect. All right. Okay. So if you're ready.
Not quite. You're not on the
Not
big
quite?
screen.
Okay. What you can do, go on your right corner, go to the view and go to the speakers only. On the right side, top right, there's a view.
We're just getting rid of the PowerPoint presentation for a moment.
Okay.
Now he's up there.
Okay.
Now you can just get rid of that. And good. You're up. Go ahead.
All right, I'm up.
So you can now share your PowerPoint.
Okay. Well, before I share my PowerPoint, I will just talk a bit about myself, just to introduce myself to you guys. And maybe some of you guys probably don't know me or just saw me over website or maybe at at NEAF or Starfest, and never had an opportunity to really get to know me a little bit. So to make a long story shorter, I will start by how my madness started about, I'd say about 50 years ago. Uh, I'm from Pointe-aux-Trembles, the east part of Montreal. And when my parents bought a house over there, it was very countryside of Montreal. And we had a neighbor, Mr. Lessard, that was in the army, but he had also a passion for astronomy. He had a small refractor telescope, and I was maybe 7, 8, 9 years old. And once in a while, he will just call us over and said, "Come have a look at the moon, and look at the stars, and look at the planets and stuff." So, as a young kid, 7, 8 years old, yes,
Can I get you to speak louder, please?
louder. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Maybe my speaker is not loud enough. Hold on. Whoops. Sorry. I'm gonna close this. Is it better?
Much better, thank you.
Okay. So yeah. So this guy got me hooked to astronomy, Mr. Lessard, at a very young age. And from that point on, I always kept track of what was going on in astronomy. It was the era of Apollo missions, and I was always interested in what's going up, what's happening with NASA. And I got my Sky and Telescope magazine every month, and then I was very interested in astronomy pretty much all my life. But at mid-teenager, also started to make a lot of music. I was a guitar player. I'm still a guitar player, but I was getting through a lot of music in a band, and so the astronomy kind of took a back seat, and started to play a lot of music, and then went to school and got a lot of friends. And after I was about 20 years old, I left Canada. Not Canada, but Quebec. I went to live in out west in Vancouver about a year. Came back, did a little more music, kept track of astronomy though. And then when I was about 23, 24, I moved to Jasper, Alberta, for about 4 years. And the skies over there were just magnificent for just visual observing. I didn't have any instrument yet, but it was in my mind that eventually I will have a telescope. So when I came back in Quebec, I was about 28, 29 years old. I met my wife, which my wife's now, and we had two kids, young kids, early 30, 31, 32 years old, and we bought a house in Hudson near Montreal, and about 45 minutes out of Montreal. And the sky let's see, in the 1995, 94, 95, the sky over there was still pretty decent, and there was not too much light pollution. And I said, okay, it's time. I need a telescope now. I'm settled. I got a house, got a wife, kids. Let's do some astronomy. But because I wasn't making a lot of money. I was a colorist for car paint company, yes. And I was doing colors for them, and then I was delivering pizza at night to make ends meet. And my wife didn't work because we had two young kids at home. So when I got to the astronomy store in Montreal, La Maison de l'Astronomie, I knew I didn't want a small telescope. I knew I wanted something like 10 or 12 inches diameters because I heard a lot about that. And in those years, it was a decent telescope for the size. And when I look at the prices, it was way out of my budget. So I was very disappointed, and I was sad. And so the salesman over there said, "Well, Norm, why don't you build your own telescope?" I said, "Wow, that's something that could be done, and I could look into it." So he sold me a couple of books on how to build telescopes and make mirrors. And so I read the books a few times, and I got convinced that maybe I could do it. So I bought the material, and I knew I wanted something larger than 10 inches. So I said, go, let's do 12 and a half. And I bought the material on site at Maison d'Astronomie, got some abrasive and all the kit that I needed to make the first mirror. And then it took me about 6, 7 months to grind and polish the first mirror, 12 and a half f7. mirror that I've done. So, and so now I had a mirror, so I needed a structure for a telescope. So I kind of got a new book, another book, and in those years the internet was just starting, so I could go on internet and look at what was doing. People were building for themselves, and I built some kind of a truss tube plywood box, mirror box, and very, very basic type of a reflector. And the result was just mesmerizing. I was so happy with the result. The vision, the image that I had at the telescope were awesome, and I was very proud of myself. So proud that I convinced my young 6 years old son that he needed a telescope too. So my second scope was a 7-inch f4.5 telescope. And when those years, when I bought the house, the man that lived in the house before me was a woodworker. So in the shed, he left all kinds of wood there. So I said, why not make a structure of a small telescope out of wood, a nice tube out of wood and stuff. But I never worked wood before. So I bought books again on how to work woods, how to grind and how to glue and how to do the finishings. So I did the 7-inch f4.5 for my youngest son, and out of maple, and the result was pretty nice. And after in that period of time, I got involved with a few local amateur astronomy club in Valleyfield and in Montreal, and the words was spreading that I was making mirrors and was making telescopes. So people started to ask me, would you make my mirror for my telescope or stuff like that. So I kind of got a lot involved into the telescope making early, and then because I was making them out of wood, it was very special, very unique. So one of the member of Valleyfield Astronomy Club asked me, why don't you go to Stellafane and present your telescope at the competition there, the yearly competition for amateur telescope maker. And that year I couldn't go because I was working weekends, delivering pizza, and I didn't have time to go travel around. So they took my telescope and presented it. They brought it over there and presented my first wooden telescope at the competition. And I got a phone call at Saturday night and said, Norm, you won the first place award for craftsmanship telescope making in the Stellafane. So I said, oh, okay. That got me a little pumped up and said, well, maybe I should make another one. And that's how really much kind of started to do my wooden telescope at the beginning, because I like to work wood, I like to do optics, I like to polish, and the results were good. So at this point, I'm going to just switch to my presentation. I did a presentation last fall, a PowerPoint presentation of what I'm doing in Armenia at the star party called Starmus. I was invited over by the Explorer Scientifique and also the astronomy group in Europe and Armenia to present and then to help at the astronomy show over there. It's called Starmus because the star for looking at the star and Mus for music. It's Brian May of Queen organized that for the last 6 years now. This event for a week long daytime presentation from astronomer or anything that relates to astronomy, and at night there's music, all kinds of band playing music. So it's very, very interesting show. The week was very, very nice. Anyway, I'll talk about it a little later on about it, but right now I'm going to just show you my presentation. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go my presentation, and let's see. Do you see? Yeah,
No,
you see it?
no.
No? Hold on. Do. You don't see this? Hold on. Okay, I will get out of there. Microsoft PowerPoint. No. You sure you don't see it?
I made them.
I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. Do. Select window. This one. Share. How's that?
It's coming up, Norm. There we
Coming?
go. Got it.
Okay, let's start
Yep.
from the beginning. Start from beginning. How's that? You good?
That's good.
Okay. So first page, well, why do I make mirrors when I build telescope? Like I said, I was always into astronomy from the young age, and at one point I wanted to make the telescope, and I started to make telescope and optics. And on the left side, this the picture of Saturn there that you see. It's from one of my customers in Australia, Anthony Wesley. I don't know if you probably heard about him, a very renowned astrophotograph in Australia. It's one of my uh, first real good customer for my new technology, technofusion, but we'll talk about it a little later on about this. Uh, there's a quality. I was very picky for what I was seeing at the eyepiece myself. Okay, I'm a very picky visual astronomer. I like to look at the eyepiece, not through a picture, but when it comes to vision at the eyepiece, I was very, very picky, and that's why I always make my mirrors. I always correct the figure of my mirror up until I'm very happy with it, and it would be for me as good as it would be for someone else. So after many hours and days and research and testing, I came to a point where I could deliver good optics pretty much every time that I was making a mirror, because I was always looking for the best I could do, not going all, not a good enough type of mirror, but an excellent mirror every time. So here's the picture of my first telescope, 12.5 inch, that I rebuilt the structure, because the first structure for that mirror was plywood and aluminum truss tube and very, very basic type of telescope. So at one point when I'm beginning, I decided to rebuild the entire telescope around the mirror, the way I was building my wooden telescope. And you see the picture here of Bertha, that's her name, Bertha 2, because of the version number 2. And that was a Stellafane. I don't remember what year it was, but I won first place award with it that year. It's a telescope that you can split in 3 sections, easy to transport around, and now it lives in BC. And one of my, well, someone at A.G. Segal in BC has it, and he's at home. Oops, I forgot. Yeah, okay. So I was asked to build more and more wooden telescopes. So as you can see here, the pictures, I started to build 8 inches, 10 inches, 12.5 inches, larger and larger telescope, because the demand was there. So I presented them every year at the Stellafane, and also at Starfest and at NEAF. Picture that you see at the bottom here, or at NEAF, some of the first year that I was invited over there. Over there also, this is in my shop on the top right here with the 12.5, one of my most beautiful telescopes that I built for a friend here in Quebec, Pierre Tournay. It's a 12.5 f5 made of coco bolo. Everything is hand carved on the telescope, so I'm very proud of that telescope. In the middle top here, it's a 10-inch moon scope, I call it. The mirror is not coated, and it's I've done that because I wanted to observe the moon without the coating on the mirror. It's a perfect brightness when you want to observe the moon without a filter. So I built a telescope without the coating on the primary, just to observe the moon with. Change. Oh, okay. So then I had to do an evolution of the telescope, because people were asking me for larger and larger optics, larger telescope. And for a telescope larger than 16-inch diameters, wood is not very good anymore. It's just too, it's not strong enough. They're always wobbling, and there's always flex in the wood, so it's not very good for that. So for large telescope, large mirror, I had to, first of all, I had to move my shop in a larger area, in a larger shop, to be able to build some machines to help me. The time frame to make the mirrors, if I do it by hand, is way too long to be profitable. So I had to build machines to make mirrors faster, and larger mirror also. So here's one of my large machine that I built for that can do up to 65 inches diameters. So you see this is the plateau here, and there's a 54 floating cell on the machine exactly the same that if it was in a telescope. If you go with a very large telescope like 40, 50, 60 inches, you need a 54-point floating cell underneath, so to really support the mirror properly. So that's it's on the grinding machine and polishing machine. There we go. And also, you need a bench to be able to hold the mirror when you want to test it. You have to put it 90 degrees vertical, and then back on the machine and back on the vehicle. So you need a tilting table with air supports. And this is the type of mirror that will explain how it's done. Here's a Techno Fusion mirror that I make. We'll get that to that point a little later on. So here's the machine. That grind and polish mirror. On the machine right now, there's a 50-inch on the right bottom right there that you see. There's a 50-inch mirror Techno Fusion that you see on the machine. And as you can see on the top left, it's very safe. The mirror is on its edge, and I designed a way to manipulate those mirrors very safely, and one person can do the job, just taking the mirror off the machine and on the test bench and then back on the machine within 10-15 minutes. So it's a very safe manipulation. There's some other machine that I have in the shop. I can show you a little video on this is a 20, I think it's a 20-inch Techno Fusion mirror, the grinding process. Whoops, I wanted to do this. There. Basic type of machine, grinding machine with turntable and an overarm that carry the tools on the machine, on the mirror. Control of speed and velocity and the weight on the surface of the mirror also. This is a different one with a regular mirror, smaller one, a 10-inch mirror. Different abrasive to grind the mirror and smooth the surface. That's my friend there, Martin, François Saint-Martin. Okay, there. So what you see here, it's a kiln. It's a big, big kiln because in 2010, I approached Laval University optical department to help me to design and create a new type of mirror for large telescope, because American or European company, when I asked them to send me a large mirror, they would send me the reject, or it would take forever to take the blank get to my shop. So I decided to make my own blank. The approach that we took with the university, I will show you, we call it Techno Fusion, but to do so, I needed a big kiln to make the fusion of the mirror, the blanks inside. So this is the kiln that I bought to do the job. I can do 100-inch mirror in there if I wanted. So here it is, Techno Fusion mirror. Okay, as you can see, there's a top layer of borosilicate, which is Pyrex. Bottom layer, plates, and then little columns of borosilicate all over the place to make the internal structure of the mirror itself. So what it gives us, it's much, much, much lighter mirror, okay, for large diameter aperture. It's about 70% lighter than a solid mirror of the same thickness. Give you an example, a 36-inch mirror Techno Fusion weigh about 175 pounds versus about 700 pounds if it was solid for the same thickness. And because it's so light and the internal structure makes it like a solid one, the rigidity of the mirror is optimized by about 10 times. So it's more rigid than the solid mirror itself. And I think that one of the best advantage also is the thermal equilibrium delay. Okay, like everybody knows, a mirror has to be in thermal equilibrium, same temperature than the outside air around when you observe. Otherwise, the mirror will be contracting or dilating, so the image will be all over the place. But by doing those mirror in the telescope itself, I put a ventilation on one side that pushes the air in between the layer, and then on the other side that pulls the air out. So this way, there's always an air current in between the two plates. And because the top plate is very thin, no more than an inch thick, or probably less than an inch thick, it gets into thermal equilibrium within about 15 minutes. And it stays in equilibrium all night. So you don't have to worry about, oh, my mirror is still warm, the mirror is still adjusting to the temperature. It is very, very, very fast doing. How we build those mirror? Whoops. There it is. So first of all, nowadays I've used two very thin, let's say 15 millimeter thick sheet of borosilicate, which is Pyrex. That is water jet cut. Okay, water jet, because if I would go laser, it will induce heat and then it will do all kind of stress in the glass. By doing a water jet, it's like butter. It's cutting like butter, so there's no residue of stress around the edge. So I've fused two plates together. And then I put that on a bench, and then with a computer generated pattern where to install all the columns, I put a little dots where I put the columns, and then all the columns are added by hand with a little bit of epoxy glue on the edge, not underneath the column, but right on the edge so it doesn't fall, so it stays straight. So I build all the little columns one after the other, and then I'm not putting all the columns because I have to go install this part in the kiln. And then when it's installed in the kiln, I finish the pattern of all the columns, and then I add the back part. So this will be the back of the mirror cell. The front will be there, and the back will be at the top here. And I fuse it. It takes about a week to do the fusion and then the cool down. When that is done, I have two surfaces. One is the two surfaces are parallel, so there's no curve to it. It's very flat and straight. So when I have an order for these type of mirror, and I know the F ratio that a customer wants, let's say F3.5, I have a company that makes convex mold to go in a kiln with the approximative radius of curvature that I need. So I put like this one you see here, this is a mold right here, convex, and I put the mirror facing down on the mold, and I heat up the mirror. So the glass gets soft and poof, takes the shape of the mold. So that way I have, when I flip the mirror, I have a surface that is concave on the top and convex at the back. And because the top layer is molded, the center is as thick as the edge. I don't have to grind the center to get to a curve. The entire surface is all the same thickness, so it gets into thermal equilibrium at the same time. So next page. So you see some example here of different mirror that I make. On the left here is a 36. At the bottom left there is a 61-inch mirror that I built for a guy in Quebec. On the bottom right, it gives a 60, a 40, and two 36 blanks. Some of the first mirror that we produced here. So when the mirror is done and grinded and polished, you need to coat it. So in the past, I was driving my mirror down to Pittsburgh and have a company there to do the coating for me. And then at some point they closed down, and so I had to send them in California, which is very expensive and tricky. And so I decided to make my own coating. So on the left side, there's a small homemade vacuum chamber that can do up to 20 inches mirror. And then on the right there, you see a vacuum chamber that I built that can do up to 70 inch. So I can do all my coating in-house here without traveling with the mirror or standing it out to have it done. And this is the result. That's it. This is a 30-inch Technofusion mirror just coming out of the vacuum chamber, the large vacuum chamber. So it is. And now, because I'm making large mirror and large telescope, of course, I found out that the large telescope, regular Newtonian type, the eyepiece gets very high up on the telescope. Let's say a 36-inch f. Let's say that's 4. The eyepiece is about 12 feet high in the air. So at night, when it's dark, on a ladder with a little wind, it's very scary. So I designed a folded Newtonian. It's a same design of a Newtonian. Instead of having the secondary at the top at 45 degrees to bring the light sideways, I changed the angle to go halfway down the tube of the mirror of the telescope and lower the mirror of the secondary mirror, of course. And so as an example, on the right here, you have a 50-inch f3.5 and the eyepiece at the zenith at about 8 feet high only. And I will show you later on. There's on the left side there, this is a 36 f3.5 and the eyepiece is at 6 feet only. And I have a friend of mine here, André Coulomb, just ordered me one exactly like the one on the left, f3.2, 36-inch. I will show you the mirror later on. Here's an example of that Californian telescope, 50-inch f3.5, looking at the sky. See, only 3 steps. There we go. So I keep making those wooden telescope and also do some regular Newtonian, like the one you see here. This is Doug Cunningham Observatory. You probably know Doug from Starfest, and he's very into astronomy enthusiast. And this is his observatory, very large roll-off observatory. He already have 5 on my telescope. A 32-inch f3.5 regular Newtonian and 4 wooden telescope, different size. He's a maniac. There's the same observatory with the roll-off or the roof over. So there we go. And this is, like I said, a 36-inch f3.5. On the right side, bottom right, this is André Coulomb. In those years, that was in 2014 or 15, something like that. One of my first 36-inch. This one is in France right now, that telescope. But I'm building exactly the same telescope for him now. He's going to have it at Alexandria in his observatory. So over the years, I developed the technology to make the mirrors, to make the larger telescope available for visual observing and safer. Like I said, I've been selling telescope now for the last 20 years, and now more and more it's overseas, Europe, Australia, Africa, South America. Different. Some people just buy the optics, the technofusion to build their own telescope, or they buy my structure. Like if you go on Explore Scientific website, which is an American company, very large telescope making and reseller. He has my folded Newtonian telescope like this one. This is the drawing of a 50-inch f3.5 telescope. He sells my telescope in the United States, and this is the design that we propose for the large telescope. This is the back of the telescope you see with the mirror cell and the cooling fan and everything. So this was my small little presentation for you. Now I would like to, if I go exit there, if I close your screen sharing, stop sharing. There we go. You still there?
We're here.
Okay.
We're amazed. We're amazed.
Okay, what I have to do now is to close my Zoom with you guys and open it on my phone, because if I have the both of them at the same time, there'll be an echo. So I will close my laptop and I'll come back on my phone and I'll do the walk around in my shop to show you what I'm working on right now. Okay?
Sounds great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave now and come back in 2 seconds.
When you saw the picture of the 10-inch mirror, it was so small.
So he's when he comes back. So we'll probably make some time for some questions. I'm sure you'll have questions about what we just saw. It's pretty extraordinary. And when you see one of his telescopes up front, like in person, just stare at it for the longest time because they're so pretty. You had a question back there? Yeah, yes. So you'll be able to watch it at home. I apologize, but we're having trouble with the speakers. Why don't you come up here and sit at the front? Come on. There's 2 chairs up here for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's plugged in and powered by USB. Oh, here he is. Yeah.
Come take a look, Victor, see if you got a thought. Yeah. 3 sensors. So have these on now. So if you want to.
I put him as co-host.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Norm, can you hear me?
We can't, like, yeah. We can't hear you. Say. Can't hear.
Can't hear you, Norm. Yeah, that's the end of it.
Have you got it?
No, I don't think so.
Go to the chat, see a picture and see it.
So here, everyone else is muted. Oh, yeah, I think he's either trying to connect in. All right. See it there. There it's connected to the account.
There you go. Do you hear me now?
We can hear you.
And I can hear you good.
Perfect.
Like I said, I'm no nerd in those things. Okay, so I'm gonna flip my image.
And now we're loud.
Okay, let's see. Not this. I have to flip. How do I flip? No.
Just turn the phone around.
No, hold on. I have a. There we go. That
There
is
you
it.
go. Yeah.
All right, we got it. Win business.
All right.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me now?
I can hear you great.
Okay, so here's my office, pretty loaded. And this is my partner, Antoine, office. He's a engineer in 3D printer, also in telescope making with me for the last few months. And we're building some 3D printer that I'll show you later on. Okay, let's get in the shop. Okay, so this side of the shop is the mirror making, the grinding, polishing, and everything. All the machines are here. As you can see, different machine, different sizes. And we'll start from the front here. Whoop, almost fell. Okay, so we'll start with the big boys. This is the big machine you saw earlier that I was starting to build. And there is a 50-inch mirror Technofusion on it right now. As you can see the structure of the blank itself. It's very thin. It's only 6 inches thick, but it's very lightweight for 50-inch, 6 inches thick. It's about 275 pounds only. So it's very, very lightweight for the size mirror. And now is at the figuring stage. As you can see here, the machine has the overarm that will hold the tools on the mirror. And then there's the turntable. Here, there we go. And the 54 cell point at the bottom underneath the mirror. So, and like I was saying earlier, I found a way to remove the entire plateau of the machine with the mirror on it and put it on the table here, flip the table, and everything stays aligned and it goes back on the machine after it's done. So it's very easy work to do. So this is the 50-inch. What do I have here? There's the tools that I'm working with. This is my first machine that I built. Mirror-o-matic in the, oh my God, at the, probably in 2000, early 2000 that I built that one. So a small 10-inch for New Moon Telescope, United States. I make his optics for his reflector telescope. I always have about 3, 4, 5 mirror for him every month to make. So from let's say 8-inch up to about 22, 24 inches sometimes. There is another 10-inch for him. And over here we have a 30-inch Technofusion at the rough grinding stage. It's a mirror for a customer in Netherlands. Mr. De Vos, he's going to build a telescope for this astronomy group over there, f3.5. And too bad here, we have a large machine that I had a 40-inch on it not 2 weeks ago. And they came and pick up the crate with the mirror in it today, and it was going to Australia for a customer, private customer that wants to build his own telescope with a 40-inch f4, no, actually it's f3.5 for his own observing. This is another machine. Behind me, it's a 36-inch f3.2 for my friend André Coulomb I was telling you about, and I'm building for him. He just ordered it Christmas time. It was a Christmas present for him, from him to himself. So now the mirror is the figuring stage also. So within about 4 or 5 months, it should be done. And the telescope will be delivered in the fall of 2023. What do I have here? Oh, this is the 16-inch for New Moon Telescope, also a solid mirror. There we go. So this side is the grinding, the polishing, the figuring, and next to it here is the tunnel. One large tunnel for the very large mirror, let's say from 30 inches up to 65. And right next to it is, whoop, it's very dark in here. It's good for that. There's a small tunnel for the smaller mirror from, let's see, you cannot see it. It's very dark. Sorry. Up to 20 inches on the left side. And it's all done by Foucault tester. So now if I go on the other side, we're talking structural and building the structure of the large telescopes. Okay, so on the left side here, I have an old milling machine where I can work on parts, the structural part of the mirror of the telescope. And this one, see, this is a column that I make holes in them to make them lighter. So it's all done by hand here with the milling machine. You will see the structure part later on. And just to give you an idea, I'm building a 50-inch f3 telescope right now. This is the mirror box. It's huge. The mirror cell will be installed there with 54 points, like on the machine. This one part, this is the top of the telescope with the spider and the secondary mirror holder right there. Whoops, I flipped the image. Very big one here. More mirror ready to go, already coated. This is an 18-inch for New Moon. There's a 30-inch mirror right there, finished coated and everything, that will show you the structure that I'm working on. There's a 36-inch mirror box that goes to Megantic Observatory that they're going to have to. I'm still waiting for them to build the observatory to deliver their telescope. It's done for the last year, but I have to keep it here because they don't have any observatory to put it in. So it's kind of frustrating, but hey, I have it. I have the structure here, safe and sound. There's the 30-inch, the base of the 30-inch f3.5 I'm working on. I showed you the mirror. So this is the ground board, the rocker, and the mirror box with the altitude bearing. It's all on bearings, very easy to move around. The structure will be built on the top of it here, going up about 8 feet high for 30-inch f3.5. What do I have here at the back? Okay. These here are 3D printer, plastic 3D printer that I have now for the last 4 or 5 months. My partner here, Antoine, built them, and that's what he does. He built the 3D printer and make the programs for them, and then we started to build and print our own parts, like these ones here. You see the edge support of the telescope here. It's all homemade printed here. Also, the legs of the telescopes are printed here. All kinds of parts that now I don't have to have a machine or to do myself. It's all printed here. It's very solid and very, very nice. What do I have here? The altitude bearing for the second 30-inch, because I have this second one here, right there, all coated and ready to go. This is the ground board and the rocker for that telescope, and altitude bearing are there. What else? Okay, this is the 50-inch. On the other side, this is the kiln that you saw in my presentation, installed in the shop. I cannot open it now because I have a mirror that in a cooling stage right now in it. On the right side, all kinds of parts. Like I was saying here, I was making holes in the columns. This is all parts welded and powder coated, ready to be assembled into a telescope. This is the focuser cage for the 50-inch. The top here, all kinds of parts for the 36-inch Megantic Observatory telescope and the 230 inches. All kinds of parts. And okay, so I was telling you about the 50-inch I'm building. Too bad. 2 weeks ago, I had a fully assembled 40-inch f3.2 assembled right here, but the customer came and picked it up. So it's not here anymore, but this is the ground board and the rocker of the 50-inch already in place. These are the large altitude bearing that will be bolted on the mirror box later on this week and will be installed there. And then we start to assemble the first assembling of the structure that will probably go all the way up to the almost to the lift here. So this is the one. On the right side here, this is the large vacuum chamber that you saw in the presentation. It's working just about every day, almost, with all the coding that I have to do for New Moon and for different projects. So it's very effective, worked very well. And I'm very proud to say that we built it here. So it's not something from anywhere else. And this is a crate going for 26-inch, ready to go for Italy. So a customer in Italy built his own telescope. He needed a large mirror. So, and there's what do I have here? Oh yeah, there's a 48-inch here right now. So, like, as you can see, I have lots of work. I cannot complain about lack of work in astronomy, telescope making. It's only me, my son, David, my youngest one. He's not here tonight because he worked all day. And my friend, Antoine, the consultant and engineer to build a structure. And he will be more and more involved in the company as time goes. And we working on different projects with probably the Canadian Defense for, anyway, I cannot tell you about it, but it's lots of large telescope to be built in the near future. So I'm very happy, the business going well. And I think I'm gonna take my retirement in about 4 or 5 years, but my son will take over and I'm very happy about that. So there's my shop. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you up there, upstairs here. I'm gonna go up because it's a good thing to make those big telescope and mirror, but I still make the wooden telescope to order. So this is a 10-inch black walnut cube for telescope, and with the man in the moon altitude bearing, hand carved, that will be on the telescope. This is another one. This is a 6-inch made of cherry, in the making. So I still built my own wooden telescope, but only to order. I don't bake anything in advance to sell. So this one was supposed to be mine, but then I have to sell it to a guy in the United States. So I'm still without a scope. What can I say? So I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna go downstairs and go back on my laptop and take some questions from you guys.
That sounds great, Norm.
I'll be right back with you guys.
All right. Yeah. You think his laptop is the issue? Oh, he's gone. He's gone. We'll see. So when he does come on, I'll get people to ask questions. You want to ask the question?
Sure. Okay. Okay.
Well, he's there. He's just muted right now. Well, he's gone.
I'm back.
There you are. Okay.
Hi,
Hey, Norm, we have some questions already for you if you're ready.
go for it.
How do you keep your shop dust free?
The what?
How do you keep your shop dust free?
Dust free.
Yeah, it looks so clean.
Well, there's all kinds of plastic over the machines and stuff to prevent anything that falling down on the mirrors. But otherwise, it's just being careful. We work with gloves. We try to clean every surface before we worked on, and we take compressed air and put some air on ourselves before we work on mirrors, so we reduce the risk of anything happening. But of course, you have to understand that large mirrors like that, even the professional ones, well, the top of the line ones, okay, American or European, there are always going to be scratches and dig. It's part of the when you deliver the mirror, there's that sheet says the 10, 20 or 40, 60 scratch and dig report. So it would tell you where there's some small scratches on the mirror, where some bubble hole, air bubble hole, or anything on the surface. It's just cosmetic. Okay, your mirror could be scratched. I mean, you can take a key and do a scratch on your mirror, and you won't see it at the eyepiece. It won't affect the image. It needs a really bad defect on the surface to degrade the image. It's just aesthetic. And all the amateur astronomers around the world, okay, if they see a small sleek on a mirror, they're, oh no! I mean, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. People are freaking out about this, and it's normal. It's pretty hard. It's just about impossible for me let's say on a 36 or 50-inch mirror. I will grind it and I will polish and figure it for about, I don't know, 6-8 months. Okay, I cannot guarantee there won't be any particle in the air that will get there and it will make it a little sleek on the surface. Anyway, it's not going to affect the image. Yes.
Norm, we got about maybe 2 or 3 more questions, and then we have to get on to the meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Any
any questions? Yes, Eric.
I can't hear.
We're going to repeat it to you.
Do you have a wave rating that you test your mirrors against?
I do by Foucault testing. That's the test that I do. I don't do interferometer because, first of all, it's too expensive to buy. First of all, eventually I will buy one. But second is that every time you do an interferogram with the laser and everything, it takes about an hour to install. I make maybe 20, 25 tests a day, okay, with different size mirror in the shop, and then do the testing and back and forward. I don't have time to use the interferometer on each test that I do. When I start to figure at the end, okay, when I'm done a mirror, when I will have the interferometer, I will do a result when at the finish and then do the 3D result afterwards.
Okay.
Otherwise, for me, it's not practical.
Thank you. Are you going to be at Starfest this year?
I will try. I'll try my best to be there this year. If I can finish a mirror or telescope for it, or if I can borrow a telescope from one of my customers. Yeah, always. I'd love to be there. Yes.
Is there any other questions? Okay. Yes. Do you do tours of your facility?
Of course. Yes. If people want to come and visit, you're welcome.
There you go.
Just got to bring donuts.
Yes, donuts.
So I think I have a question. I think I have a question
Yes.
that's on everybody's mind. So
Okay.
if we wanted to go out and buy that 48-inch telescope from you,
Yeah.
do we have to mortgage the house?
Well, first, yes. Because the prices went up so much, the material itself in the last 3 years myself, okay? Just to give you an example, a blank 12.5-inch solid regular one that for any maybe an inch and a half thick, okay? 3-4 years ago, I was paying myself about $500 to $600 US for the blank, okay? Now, the blank itself is over $1,500 US, just the blank. It's crazy. So yes, my price went up in the last few years because of that. And also, I mean, if you buy a 50-inch telescope like the guy in Australia right now that I'm building, the guy is a doctor, retirement. It's a retirement. This is his gift to himself for his retirement. And he doesn't do sailboats or whatever. This is passion. So, I mean, yeah, it's of course, it's very expensive, but That's the market.
Well,
And before I go, okay, I have a short story to tell you. When I was in Yerevan, in Armenia in September for the Star Party I was telling you about earlier, okay, there was all kinds of artists there. There was Brian May, there was Peter Gabriel, there was Rick Whitman, and also the last night I was there, the event was at a very historical temple, very high on a mountain. Me and Scott Roberts of Sky Telescope had installed 10 small telescope on sites, and there was a band playing at night, and then we observe at night and everything. And at one point, I took a break to observe, and I was walking around, and who's next to me? Chris Hadfield, our astronaut. Yes, he was there. So we chatted around for about a half an hour and about astronomy, telescope, of course, music, because I'm a musician. He's a musician, blah, blah, blah. He gave me a pick with his name on it. And as the evening ended and the band started to finish to play, Scott Roberts know that I'm a musician. I always played when I do some presentation for his group. I'd always do a song for him. And then he said, "Hey, Norman," he was on stage presenting everybody at the end of the night who was involved and was organizing, and said, "By the way, Norm, the band's left the guitar on stage for you if you want to play a few songs for us." So I play a few songs, and then I got my guitar here for you also. And guess what? I'm in Armenia, okay? I have Chris Hadfield and another astronaut next to him in front of me. And this is what I played for them. She packed my bag last night, pre-flight, 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. It's lonely out in space on such a dime, such a time. I think it's gonna be a long, long time. If touchdown green, and I'll get to find I'm not the man you think I am. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man, burning out a fuse out there alone. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. In fact, it's cold as hell. There's no one there to raise them if you did. And all that science I don't understand. Just like a 5 days a week rocket man, rocket man. I think it's gonna be a long, long time. If touchdown green, I'll get to fly. I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, I'm a rocket man, burning all the fuse out there alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. So here, I was playing that song to Chris Hadfield right in front of me. So that was a miss, something that I will always remember all my life.
Well, I can see that you have more than one talent. Thank you very much, Norm. That was wonderful.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
All right. We'll see you down the road. Looking up.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me, and come by the shop anytime you want. Give me a call, and then just come and visit the shop if you want. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. I'm gonna pull up the presentation. So while we're pulling up the PowerPoint presentation, Erin, would you use your file right now? Right? Absolutely. Let's do an animation. Okay. So let's come back here at quarter after. Okay. Thank you.
So we're gonna be on
So
50-50.
no, we see just past Norm is going to be one more. We'll start with Debbie.
Okay, sure.
Insurance. Down on the launch here. Look at the sky, all like this. This So all the time.
Surrounding.
On this.
It's the same thing here. If you go to the sound settings.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if everybody can grab a seat, continue on. Okay, so I'd like to get Debbie up. For those of you who don't know, Debbie is our social director, social media director, and she has literally revitalized the club single-handedly. She's doing an incredible job. So before she even starts, I just want you to give her an applause.
Thank you. So today I just wanted to really quickly tell you guys what our social media channels are. So we have our Facebook, that's our main thing. That's where we post when all our meetings are going to be. We also have a Twitter. We're doing experimental things with it. I have some trivia questions. I also post meeting reminders. We also have an Instagram where we have just pretty posts basically that tell us if we have any interesting speakers. I just wanted to gauge like how many of you guys here are most active on Facebook? Raise a hand. Okay, Twitter. All right, and then Instagram. Oh, okay, all right, we have a good mix. And I want to ask you guys really quickly, do you guys have any preferred sort of like posts or things you want to see on our social media? Like we used to have what's in our night sky. Would you guys like to see more of those, or do you just want to stick to meeting reminders? All right, so photos on Instagram. Do you guys want more what's in the sky or trivia posts, or just meeting reminders? All right, I'm gonna guess you guys are impartial and stick to what we're doing. All right, yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Aaron, it's all yours. So Erin has been club secretary this year, and she's doing an excellent job, but she's also filling in on things like 50-50 and yes, photography contest and some other things that she's been proposing, and she has become an invaluable part of it. So if you want to give her a little applause and say thank you for stepping in.
So we have two submissions plus me, so we're working on it. It's after photography doesn't really kick up, I'm going to switch it over to like a different activity, just so we get member kind of participation during meetings and stuff, just so we're not coming, sitting, listening, going home, and like interact with each other and chat and show off for like astronomy business. So you just do the things.
Yeah.
So I've broken it down into two categories: a beginner one, just so basically anyone who doesn't really have the equipment or the knowledge can take a picture with their phone, picture with the telescope. You don't have to have like PixInsight or Photoshop or anything like that. You can still participate. And then we have the more advanced category where you're stacking and you're doing things I don't know how to do. That's why I do my beginners. Bruce will know about these things. I want to do it once a month. If you can hand in your pictures about a week before, so I can make the PowerPoint presentation. And there is a prize for the winners for each category as well. So the week before the meeting. To the secretary email. It's just underlined there, so that'll come to me, and then I'll make it just a PowerPoint presentation. I'm hoping to send the pictures to Debbie so they can make it to social as well. Just to kind of bump us up there a little bit. So this is the beginner. Ta-da. Just one. And then go to our more advanced study. If you want to just look at them, the both, then I'll take back like a raise your hand vote to see who the winner is. Do you want to go back to the first one? It's just me. I win. So that's the other thing. If you're the only photo submitted, you instantly win. It could be like a picture of like a blurry sun and you win. It's something. So this is our first submission of the comment. We're going to take a gander, then we'll move to the second one. This is our second submission. Give you about 10 seconds to take a look. So raise your hand if you want to vote for picture number 1. Somebody, anybody. 1, 2. Okay, number 2. Who wants to vote for number 2? Bruce, is that a winner? Bruce has won 2 months in a row, so there's some competition. So Bruce isn't just clean and tell us.
I have all these shirts.
So I go to the next one. So the first one was me. I pointed my telescope in the sky. I went, hey, that looks really cool. I just took a picture with my phone through my eyepiece. Easy peasy, ready to go. Rick took a photo of the comet. I think this is his first time using PixInsight, kind of playing around with that and stuff. And then the second one is Bruce, the Milky Way at the desert. I'm also opening submissions to the last 3 years, just because we haven't been in meetings. Just kind of makes it easier for everybody. 50-50. No?
No, why don't you 50-50?
Okay. So we raised a total of $90 this month. If you guys want to get your tickets ready, half of it goes back to you guys, half of it goes back into the clubs, like fixing the observatory, making sure we have a spot to come and have our meetings and stuff like that. So if you want to get ready, shake them up real decently. So winning ticket is gonna be, don't you dare. 694383. Not Victor. 694383.
Oh, somebody back there. Victor, you want to do your blurb on outreach?
Your HDMI, right? No, I just need the HDMI plug.
Oh, okay.
It's that one. Yeah. Sweet. So we were just at Westfield Heritage Village. Let's see if this works. Why it's not- Oh, there it is. Oh, there we are. How much? Get it out of the way. So we were just at Westfield Heritage Village this past Sunday. They're doing their maple syrup run, and we went out a couple of weeks ago. Andy, Bruce, and Ed, who's not here tonight, because we've had a partnership with them in the past, and they house some of our historical telescopes. So let me show you something somewhat interesting. There you go. So those are the historical telescopes. There's a transit scope kind of up top in the back. There's a number of eyepieces in the back. We want to showcase these telescopes because otherwise they're sitting in a warehouse doing nothing. And we had one of the scopes out this past Sunday. We had lots of people come through the park, about 1,100 guests coming through the park. And it's supposed to get busier as the weather gets better. So we had, I think, 6 of us come. So Bruce was there, Andy was there, Jeff was there, Al was there, and Ed was there, and myself. So we had 6 of us. I had my, sorry, Al, there you are. I was looking for you. I was wearing a mask earlier and I was looking for you. But so we had my 10-inch dog. Ed brought a 10-inch dog. I had a solar filter on mine. I didn't have a chance to make the solar filter for Ed's, well, the club's scope, the one that Ed uses for outreach. But we do have one now, so I ordered some film and I've made a filter for it. But it's kind of a nice contrast because we didn't really have great weather. Clouds didn't cooperate a lot. We had pockets of time where the clouds would kind of separate. We could look at the sun, but it was a nice contrast to have a 10-inch daub that, you know, we tip it down and say, hey, kids, want to look at what a telescope looks like inside? It was a good prop. And then they could come over to mine and look through it when there were moments of time. We had a table set up. We had pamphlets set up. We had 1,000 pamphlets done up, Debbie's design. And we used, I think, some of Roger's pictures. We used Jeff Booth's pictures on that pamphlet. I can't remember if I've got a picture of it here. Hold on one sec. I do not. Oh, that's actually one of Norm's telescopes at RASC National. So I figured I'd throw that in there. Has nothing to do with our outreach, just happens to be a picture. That's one of the transit scopes. What else? And then that's us at Westfield set up. It was the first time we had our banner out, got a banner made up. So nice kind of representation of our group. Andy had his rather binoculars. So the one you see right over there. Sky window, thank you. Jeff had his Mac cast out, so that's up on the bandstand there, and then you can kind of see my giant cannon in the corner there, and there's the 10-inch dog right there. It was a lot of fun. It was cold, but it was a lot of fun. So the one thing I was going to ask is if we have any volunteers that would like to do it this Sunday. Right now we have 3, well, maybe 4 going. We found that it worked with 6 good because, you know, we could kind of trade off and go for breaks, go somewhere and warm up, you know, have a coffee, have some pancakes, whatever. Lions Club is on site, so they're selling pancakes and there's a place to get food. But we were thinking, actually, Andy's suggestion and then seconded by Jeff, that maybe what we'll do is shifts rather than doing a full 6-hour day. Park opens at 10. We're sort of expected to be there at 9 to get set up. And really, it's just talking about our club, what we do, these meetings, the fact that you can get a loaner scope if you're a member of the club, and some of the other features. It's all listed in the pamphlet, so you don't have to memorize anything. You know, some of the other folks that were there can talk about what we did, but really it's just about talking up the club. One of the other reasons we're there, because we're doing it during the daytime, is to talk about solar astronomy and just being able to view the sky safely. Been a lot of kids, a lot of great questions. So that's sort of the lay of the land. And then the day goes till 4. So usually about 4:15 or so, they'll let you pull your car in and pack up your stuff. So I don't know if there's anyone that wants to volunteer. Just come talk to me afterwards. Come talk to me after, and I'm sure we could use it. Jeff and Andy, I think you said you'd like to come in the morning. Doesn't matter. Morning or afternoon. Okay, so you're flexible. Jeff, you said morning's better for you. Okay. Yeah, but if we could get like 2 or 3 people in the morning, and 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I think that would work well. And then no one feels obligated to stay for the full day. If you want to stay for the whole day, by all means. Yeah. No, it's every Sunday in March. Yeah, it's every Sunday in March. It's 2 days on March break. It's Wednesday and Thursday of March break, and then the first Sunday in April. And as the weather gets better, they're expecting to get busier. And you get your supply of maple syrup. That's right. The other thing I wanted to mention, I've been working on equipment and stuff, so I'm not going to talk about that tonight. Like, I'm fixing some of our telescopes that need work. But on the table there, if you get some time maybe after our presentations, there's pictures and a number of things from the collection of Michael Jefferson, who's a member of our club for a number of years. And I passed away, but his family has left some of his things to us. So there's a couple of magazines there. I only brought a few, just to kind of show you what's in part of the collection. I'm looking for suggestions on what to do with it, just to be able to honor his legacy. So I brought the pictures. If you want to take a look, there's some things of Hale-Bopp, Comet Hale-Bopp, and different things there. So have a look. That's why it's there. The magazines, some of them are very technical, but they're scientific write-ups. I'm thinking maybe we donate those to McMaster, maybe the library or even the Hamilton Public Library. But I'm open to suggestions. So that was the kind of the other plug that I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you this back. Yeah.
Thank you, Rep. Bruce. Okay. So for you that don't know, Bruce has been our treasurer this year, and he has also taken on the responsibility for and there are a enormous number of books that we have in our library, and Bruce is going to tell us about one of the books that he read this month. But again, if you give a little applaud, let him know how much you appreciate him donating this time.
Oh, okay. So one of the reasons I bought this book, one, I thought it was a couple inches thick, but it's very, very slim. I was very interested in what's happening with the Artemis missions. You know, it's actually started now, so I wanted to get some current information on it. So I bought this book. Unfortunately, there's only 17 pages that are actually on the Artemis mission. The rest of the book is about the previous missions, Apollo, Gemini, Mercury. And then the second half of the book is really just references to different NASA websites, different books that the author referenced. So it was a bit of a disappointing book in that it didn't really have that much information on the Artemis missions. So I'd like to ask if anyone has a good source of data on the Artemis missions. I'd love to hear it, find out if that's a book that's worth purchasing for the club. So that's it for this month. Next month is going to be a very thick book on the planets.
Thank you, Bruce. Okay. Anything you want to tell us financial? We're doing good.
We're doing good. Financially, we have probably assets of current assets of about $25,000. I recently just took $18,000 and gave it to 649 to buy lottery tickets. So what I did is I took 18,000. We bought a GIC that's going to 100-day GIC that renews automatically. Currently sits at 4.2%. So it's money that we're not going to use this year. So we're just going to try to earn a little interest while the interest rates are high and generate a little extra revenue for the club. Yeah.
All right. We're running a little long tonight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip through this kind of quickly. Did anybody have a chance to see the conjunction this month? Okay. Well, that's how I saw it, but actually, a few days before that, it was even better. There was the new moon, Jupiter and Venus, and I'm telling you, that was spectacular. It was just gorgeous. Didn't last for very long, but I just stared at it for about 20 minutes. Could not believe what a treat that was. So we're already up to the full moon and the worm moon. Does anybody know why it's called the worm moon? I never heard the term before, but apparently it is a term. It's in the spring, the full moon brings the worms up and out. And they call it the worm moon. Go figure. Better have a shovel. We have a meteor shower on the 15th, the Normans. Has anybody ever seen the Normans? I've never seen them. No? All right. Last quarter of the moon is also, what's that? You know what? I don't know, but we can Google it. On the 15th is also the last quarter of the moon. The moon's at perigee on the 19th. On the 21st, it's spring. Okay. And we have a new moon on the 22nd. We have another occultation of Venus and the moon. So on the 24th, you might want to get out your hydrogen alpha filter, and you'll be able to take a picture of both of them in the same field of view. Kind of nice. First quarter on the 29th, and so the moon is at apogee on the 31st. So not a really exciting month, but kind of interesting. We've already done the 50-50. And I want to close off with a little bit about National. For those of you who are not yet up to speed, National has decided to cancel our Sky News. They put the magazine out of business, and that's very sad. That's been a big part of our communication as far as Canadian astronomy is concerned. So that's gone. They've also shut down the robotic telescope, and probably saying what's going on. Well, nobody can get any information out of National. It looks like they've made some bad financial decisions, but that's just conjecture. And we're going to find out over the next few months of what's going on. From what I'm told, there is some people outside of our organization that may want to come in and steer us back to financial solvency. But the National seems to have burned through quite a few $1 million, and they no longer have any money to support the programs that have been kind of important to us. So I can't really tell you what's going on, but there is some big concern, and nobody's answering the phone, and nobody's home. So yes, they have laid off their staff as well. You have to speak up. Yes, they have basically, everybody's disappeared. It's almost as if everybody has just run from the hills and says, I didn't do it. And but we'll find out as time goes on. Yes. Well, it's a very good question. I promise I didn't see this question, but we pay about $100 a year for our membership, and the club keeps $22. The rest of it goes to National. What it does for us, if National is no more, is it makes us a whole lot better off financially. Okay. Now, there has to be some compensation for the fact that you're not getting a magazine or the journal every year, or the that book that we get every year. What's it called? That handbook. So those things are going to be gone. Maybe. We don't know. So time will tell. I just want you to be very aware of the fact that I'm concerned. And as soon as I get some answers, I will send out a communication to the club. Any other questions? Yes. That's the last one. Well, if I can give you a little background, I tried to buy Sky News from Terry Dickinson back several years ago, and National came along and paid very, very many times more than I offered for the magazine. wanted to retire and become a publisher. Then they were doing some transactions that I wrote them about saying that it was illegal. What they were taking was RASC money, and they were buying advertising in Sky News, which they owned. That's called Enron accounting. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, it's a very, very bad process. And I told them they needed to stop doing that, or they would be bankrupt in 7 years. It happens to be 7 years. Okay, they were spending a great deal of money supporting something that they were using our money to do stuff they shouldn't do. But in time will tell on that. Anybody else? Any other questions? Yes. They haven't said. Okay, they haven't said anything. There's nobody to talk to us. So in the next 2 weeks, 2 months, or the National Assembly is in July. I think it's in July. We'll know something by then, because people are stepping up and saying that they want to run for the National Board of Directors, so that we can get some answers. But we don't know what's going on. So, yes. Yes. And this was the national. Oh. Well, first off, thank you for becoming a new member. And so I don't know, and I don't know how to respond to that, but as soon as I hear, you will all hear, I will put together a communication, let you know what's going on. So we did a lot of social media, and there's a lot of people here. There's like a third of the club here tonight. So it's really excellent. I really appreciate you coming out. I know the meeting has run a little over. We always have a little social time at Turtle Jacks, which is just south of here. So if you want to continue these conversations, we'll probably be talking about it down there. But again, thank you for coming out. Next month, we're going to be meeting at the observatory, and we're going to be having a barbecue. And so bring your telescopes and come out to the observatories, and especially bring bug lotion. Okay, because it's buggy up there that time of year. And I know that sounds weird, but come April, we're going to meet at the observatory. So next meeting is not going to be here. It's going to be at the observatory, and you'll get to see the scopes. If it's clear, we're going to open up the observatory. We're going to have some fun looking up. Thank you for coming, and have a wonderful month, and we'll talk to you next month. Oh yes, but if you could put the chairs back into table format. It's a workshop, so sure.